Welcome to the GCN Tech Show, the first show of 2022.
This week we've got the new Zwift bike, Ineos's latest aero signing, and as we contemplate burning off all the mince pies, pigs in blankets and Christmas cake, we're going to discuss which is better.
A static bike or a separate bike and a trainer.
After a great Christmas break, we're back. Alex still hasn't quite recovered from his wedding. No, but fingers crossed he recovers in time for next week's show.
Here's a picture of us actually at the wedding, or GCN team pic.
Oh, there you go. Congratulations, Alex.
Right, let's move on to our main talking point, a spin bike or a turbo.
Yeah, as most of us sort of come out of hibernation from the festive period and all the sort of indulgences, and we look to get fitter. Unfortunately, outside is quite grim, the weather's terrible, so we naturally look to work out indoors, but there's a few different options. And the main things, and a question we get asked a lot, is should I get a spin bike or a static bike, or a separate bike and turbo trainer?
Well, today we're going to look at the advantages and the disadvantages of both, and we're going to throw in a poll to see what you guys think. First up, let's take a look at the cost.
So a static bike, you can pick up a top of the range one for around £2,000 to £3,000 euros or dollars. You're looking at something like a Wahoo Kicker bike or a Watts bike Atom, something like that. At the entry level though, around £200 to £300 euros or dollars will get you a fairly basic sort of spin bike. This will lack the refinement of a top end one. It won't have a power meter and it won't have smart functionality, so you can't use it with interactive apps. Just generally lacking a lot of the sort of functionality and refinement of the top end ones.
And then an indoor trainer typically costs around £1,000 to £1,500 euros or dollar for a top end one with a built-in power meter like a Kicker. Then you can get bottom of the range ones, which will be around £50 to £100. And then there is the middle ground, which will be about £400 to £500 euros or dollars. And this will get you a pretty good, decent smart trainer. And that is your sweet spot. That is the best bang for your buck.
Yeah, it's sort of like the entry level of smart trainers. However, if you're buying a trainer, you might have to factor in the price of a bike on top of that so that you can use it.
Yeah, you might need a bike to use it.
But if you're interested in what bikes work, you might already have a bike, and if you're interested in what bikes work, well, as a general rule of thumb, if you've got a road bike and it's got 10 or 11 gears at the back, it'll work with a modern smart trainer.
You say that, but that brings me on to my next point. Even if you don't have a bike, buying one isn't just a cost. You get an actual bike. You can ride it outside when the winter ends. It is the best of both worlds, I think.
Yeah, a bike that you can ride indoors and out. But not everyone wants to ride outside, and if you don't want to ride outside, then an indoor static bike is fine. Plus, just because you've got an indoor static bike doesn't mean you can't have an actual separate other bike you do ride outside. And there is advantages to that, because it never gets dirty if you've got a static bike.
True.
And if you want to use your outdoor bike inside, you're gonna have to clean it if it's dirty. And when you're riding an outdoors bike, like your normal bike on a trainer, your sweat can damage it, like dripping the sweat on the headset bearings. It's only a minor thing, and you can wipe it clean and stuff, but it's just something to think about.
Yeah, another thing is the adjustability of indoor training bikes. They are really adjustable. So say if you're sharing the bike with someone else in the household, you can quickly adjust it because they usually have clamps on it. But things like normal bikes, they're not really designed to be changing the seat height all the time, are they? They're quite faff to
No,
change.
you have to get the Allen keys out.
Yeah, and then you have to get the sunlight just right.
You have to torque it perfectly, and
don't want to over tighten it.
Yeah.
Another thing to think about is space. An indoor trainer that you can take the bike off, you can easily store away in the cupboard.
Yeah, they often fold up and stuff.
A static bike, they don't fold.
Yeah, you kind of need a lot of space for it, don't you? Go on then. Right, if we're going entry level, I think, rather than get a really entry level turbo trainer and an entry level bike, I'd rather ride an entry level sort of spin bike, because those entry level turbo trainers they're really quite difficult to ride, and it doesn't feel like riding a bike. It's quite sludgy, isn't it? Yeah. With the resistance and stuff. Whereas even on an entry level spin bike, you've usually got a good sort of flywheel on there that has quite a lot of inertia to it, and it feels more like riding a bike outside. So if you were just wanting to ride indoors and train indoors, I think an entry-level spin bike is what I would...
Well, I think you're wrong, Ollie. Nothing beats riding a bike outdoors, the wind in your hair, the sun in your skin. Just can't beat it.
Okay, well, there are our thoughts. Let us know yours in the comments section down below. And also we'll have a poll. So you can vote on that and we'll reveal the results next week. Which would you rather go for? A static bike or a separate bike and indoor trainer?
It's now time for hot and spicy tech. And first up this week, and sticking with the indoor training theme, Zwift have just unveiled their very first Zwift bike and Zwift wheel. This is something they have spoken about for a while, and we have had a sneaky peek as they sent out a hardware purchasing survey to a number of their users.
Yeah, pretty cool this. So we'll look at the Zwift wheel first. It is a top-end smart trainer, like we were discussing before, so something like a Tax Neo or a Wahoo Kicker. And it has a top-end wattage that you can hit, max wattage, 2,200 watts. So yeah, plenty for me. Maybe not enough for Hayden Norris. Anyway, also has a maximum simulated gradient of 25%. So it's a top-end smart trainer. But what's interesting is the wheel at the back that you can see on the pictures. That's a full like 700C diameter.
Very different, isn't it?
Sort of flywheel thing, yeah. So when you have your bike on it, it looks like a full bike, which is pretty cool.
But then what we're talking about, the space thing, you can't really pack that away and keep it compact and fold it, can you?
Good point.
And that brings us on to the Zwift bike, which is actually called the Zwift Ride. And the rear end of the bike is exactly the same as the Zwift wheel. So you can actually buy the Zwift wheel first and then add the bike onto it, which
That's a cool concept. It's like a modular
really cool
thing.
Yeah,
cool.
And the bike does look really cool. And it does remind me of a Tron bike.
I think they've definitely styled it on that.
It actually lights up as well, like the Tron bike, yeah.
I just wish you could ride that bike outside.
It does look very, like, I feel like you could.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like a proper
Except
bike,
where
doesn't
the fork connects to the wheel at the front, it's kind of like empty.
No spokes in the wheel
Yeah.
as well, yeah. That might be a problem. But the handlebars also has steering, braking and the games control on there too.
That's good, because whenever I have a power up in Zwift, I'm always like...
Panic! Feels.
Yeah, so having that just on your handlebars, that'd be pretty cool. Oh, yeah.
I'm sure it'd be as cool as that.
And steering, as we've spoken about in Tech Show before, steering is where indoor training is going. So it's really cool to see a trainer come out with that built in. And well, I look forward to seeing where it steers in the future.
See what it did there.
We've also learned this week the news that friend of the channel, aerodynamicist, engineer and British hour record holder, Dan Bigham, has joined Team Ineos Grenadiers as, well, under the official title of race engineer. So according to Team Ineos's website, it says his work in the pursuit of time trial and aerodynamic excellence makes Dan Bigham one of the most respected engineers in the cycling world. Yeah, well, all the best to Dan with that. I think it's going to be interesting to see how his work helps the team. Will recruitment like this help Ineos
Will this be the
turn
end?
the tide?
Well, one way to find out.
Yeah, we'll be watching on GCN Plus, and you can too.
Next up is a Kickstarter for a rather unusual looking saddle that Alex found. Now this
Nothing
saddle,
to do with you.
Alex found it. Not taking credit. Very unusual looking saddle and something completely different to anything we've really seen before.
Well, you say that, but I don't think it is. Do you remember when we went to Cella Italia factory? They had a saddle like this that had that built-up bit at the back, like from, I don't know, from way back in the 90s.
Yeah, I do remember.
Used, yeah, but then it just never took off. Partly because it adds a load of weight and bulk and.
Yeah, true. So according to Saddle Spur that are making this saddle, it gives the pelvis a lot more support and it gives you something to push against as well when you're riding. But I've never tried one before, so I can't really comment if it is any good. But maybe it just never really took off when Cella Italia did it.
Yeah, I think we discuss more Kickstarters and weird and wacky stuff next week. So
there are some bizarre things in there.
Make sure you tune in for that. Next this week, we've got some new shoes for Mark Cavendish.
No, so these shoes are painted by the Shoe Doctor. And if you don't know who the Shoe Doctor is and don't follow him on Instagram, you don't.
No.
Well, definitely worth a follow. He hand paints and customises everything from cycling shoes to trainers to football boots. And he did a post in the GCN app for us talking all about this Mark Cavendish shoe. So he was approached by Nike basically, these shoes were being hand painted for Mark Cavendish from Nike, because Mark Cavendish has been a Nike athlete for many years, and this was to celebrate him equaling the 34 Tour de France stage wins. So after the shoe doctor found out who the shoes were for, he made time and painted these amazing shoes. And look at them. They're pretty cool, aren't they?
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind a pair of shoes being painted.
By the shoe doctor?
If you're watching.
Shoe doctor.
Anyway, that's pretty much it for Hot Tech this week, apart from a few little comments that you guys were leaving under last week's show.
Oh yeah, what we got?
One from Alejandro. Bring back Man onto the show in 2022.
Completed it, mate.
Here I am.
Yeah, that's it.
This is the only
You don't need
show.
to appear again now.
No. See you in 2023.
Time now for Screw Riding Upgrades, Buy Upgrades, where you submit upgrades you've made to your bikes, equipment or cycling lives for the chance to win the ultimate prize. What is it, Manon?
A GCN cap. Or a
No,
casket.
no, it's not.
Water bottle.
Is it a water bottle? It's a water bottle. Or bidon, if you're French, pretentious.
I feel like you'd say bidon. Because you're pretentious. Anyway,
first up this week, we've got this entry from Pete Sidilik 8085. I totally nailed that. He said his dad purchased this Peugeot 10-speed bike in 1980. It was pretty grubby after 40 years of neglect, but the components were all solid, so he decided to refurbish it and gift it back to his dad on his 65th birthday. That's nice.
a really nice present.
Yeah. Improvements include a new powder-coated frame and forks, conversion back to drop bars, new fenders, brackets, mudguards if you're not American, and new tyres, bar tape, cabling, and brake shoes. Check this out.
Nice.
There's the old tired one, right? And this is the new one. That's fan-dabby-dozy. Look at that.
Fan-dabby-dozy.
That's a beauty.
That does look really nice.
I would love to get one of those on my 65th birthday.
Yeah.
Or any birthday.
Yeah. Nice cute photo.
Yeah, that's nice. And that's him with his dad there. That's really great, isn't it?
That's a really nice story, I think. Here's up again, HB2257. I found this old S-Works Cipollini edition from around 2004 on eBay.
That's a cool frame.
And decided to give it a go. With my tarmac schedule for around May, June, I had a gap to fill and I was in need for a bike for the upcoming spring. In addition to this, I had this exact bike on my wish list for a while now, and I couldn't find it anywhere as it had gotten quite rare. But now it's finally mine, and it is basically the perfect bike with a perfect timing.
It's a cool frame, that isn't it? It's almost like
a
timeless frame. Will always look good, that, in the World Champs colours as well. I really like it. And there's some cool upgrades on there as well. Nice, it's got 105 on it, creeps out the people. It's good. I think these are both brilliant upgrades.
They are very good, and both have quite nice stories behind them as well.
Yeah, strong start to 2022.
Let's keep this going.
Yeah, who wins though? There's going to be one winner. You decide by voting in the app. I can't, yeah. What time is it now, Manon?
You know what time it is.
Okay, I'm scared. It's the bike vault. Submit your bikes in the app. We'll vote on them whether it's nice, super nice. You can play along at home. All the bikes featured, they're in the app. Just vote away. Right, nice, super nice. If they're super nice, Manon is going to ring the bell. First up this week, we've got Andrew Berry 017 with this Specialized Venge.
Ooh.
What do you reckon of that?
Why has it got Ferrari stuff?
I don't know. As far as I'm aware, there hasn't been a collaboration with Ferrari and Specialized, so that must be some kind of custom painting. Maybe he owns a Ferrari and he's trying to tell us that he owns a Ferrari in a.
Do you reckon his Ferrari's pink and black?
I hope it isn't. What are we saying? Nice, super nice?
I think that ticks all the boxes, you know.
I'm going to go super nice on that one.
Yeah, super nice. Yeah.
Always like deep wheels.
That was actually the most super nice bike of last week.
Even with such a tiny stem. Next up, we've got Beanie Belly. My bike has never been this dirty. Apparently.
Okay, question.
Specialized SL5.
Why is the back wheel so much more dirty than the front wheel?
Oh, that is a good question, isn't it?
I'm not sure.
The back one does generally get a bit dirty than the front one, but that's just one of those mysteries. What we say, nice, super. That's got to be a nice, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think nice. The whole like Biggie Smalls thing. A lot going on. Nice bike though.
Who's next?
Next up is Richie.
With a Cipollini Bond.
Oh, wow.
Do you remember the advert for the Cipollini Bond?
No.
It involved Mario Cipollini stealing plans for the Cipollini Bond and then carrying them on a bike ride while being pursued by baddies trying to steal the plans in this sort of tacky James Bond style.
It does sound like a James Bond film, that.
Yeah, find it and watch it if you've never seen it. It's pretty funny. But anyway, I think that's super nice.
There's no bike there.
What are you talking about?
There's no bike.
It's just wheels.
It's just wheels.
It's camouflage.
Camouflaged in.
Well, an impeccably trimmed bush as well on that one. It's super nice for me.
Yeah,
I like the
these are
Goodyear
super nice.
Eagle tyres. They're cool.
Yeah.
Next up, we have got a Scott foil from Matt Swab. What do you make of that?
Different.
I tell you what, there's a very modern bike, isn't it? It's a modern Scott foil, but then it's got the retro wheels.
And it's snowing.
They're the specialised tri-spoke wheels that were used in the Hour record by O'Brien.
Oh, really?
Yeah, on Old Faithful back in the day, that same style of wheel. And you've got a tiny cassette on the back as well. What are we saying, nice or super nice?
I'm going to go super nice.
I think I am as well. I think that's cool.
Yeah, different.
Next up, who have we got?
Info.
The author's name is Info. And he's got a Bianchi Zolder Pro.
Oh,
So a cross bike.
that's nice. Look at the stem and the...
Yeah, it's a sort of an aero. It's because he's gone for an aero cockpit.
Yeah, it doesn't
on
really
there,
work.
And then have to like put some special spacers on to make the aero cockpit kind of work. Yeah, he sort of bodged a aero cockpit on. Yeah, it's quite interesting.
I think that's a nice. It's, do I think it's a nice or a
I
super
think it's a nice as well. I think it's nice as well. Yeah, we'll go nice.
Yeah, nice.
And next up, we've got the MC5 Z9YZFGX with a Trek Domani SL6.
Whoa.
SRAM rival access on it.
What is going on here?
Oh, God. It looks like it's in the Bog of Eternal Stench from Labyrinth. That's an old school reference to you.
Yeah.
Some people get it. That's a nice.
Yeah, that's a nice. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's a nice.
Nice. Anyway.
That's it for the bike vault this
A
week.
good start.
Yeah.
We've seen worse.
Hopefully that improves.
Yeah. Well, that's it for the GCN Tech Show this week. Hopefully Alex will be back next week and everything will return to normal.
Like and subscribe.
Why have you got...
Bye.
Am I that bad?